After reading the title of this video, some of you may be wondering, who are the Olmecs? Why are they included here? If you're here for the Maya, we're glad you're here, and we didn't clickbait you, I promise. But we need to talk about a few other things first. These topics need some special attention because they really don't get enough. If you've searched Maya or Olmec on YouTube, you may have noticed something strange. Since we're here to provide educational content based on factual information, if you're watching for school or for your own information, you're in the right place. The descendants of the Maya and Olmecs really deserve better than a lot of what is out there. The Olmec created their civilization in Mexico, in the area of Mesoamerica, and had a lot of influence on other groups in the region, including the Maya. Even if you haven't heard of them, you may have seen some of their art, these huge stone heads that they're famous for. These stone heads weigh anywhere from around 2 to 40 tons, or about 2,000 to 36,000 kilograms, and measured anywhere from 6 feet by 5 feet to 11 feet by 10 feet, or 2 meters by 1.5 meters to 3.5 meters by 3 meters. That's as tall as anywhere from 1 to 2 very tall models. These stone sculptures, 17 have been found, were built around 1200 BCE to 400 BCE, and it was extra impressive since they were using stone tools. Only stone? In 1200 BCE? Didn't the Stone Age end a long time before that? Well, yes and no. Humans began using metals around 3500 BCE, over 2,000 years earlier than these heads were built, but humans didn't all start using it at the same time. Staying in one place, and in a place where metals can be found near the surface of the earth, is how groups of people were able to make metal tools. The Olmecs and other groups in the Americas had ancestors that traveled a very, very long way. Humans originated in Eastern Africa, and some migrated through Asia, walked over icy glaciers that bridged Asia and North America and further into the Americas. Yes, we're getting to the Maya. We are. People arrived in the Mesoamerican region around 2100 BCE. It's always helpful to think about technology and history, and remember, a few thousand years is almost nothing when we look at the early Stone Age, which is over 99% of human history. Getting back to the Olmecs lived in the Coatzacoalcos River Basin, which flooded often, beginning around 2500 BCE. These floods were good for farming, and they farmed squash, beans, sweet potato, and maize, which is similar to corn, and also were able to grow avocados and even cacao, used for chocolate, in the rich tropical forests surrounding them. The Olmec protected their homes by creating mounds and building houses on top of them, and by building their homes on higher ground than where they farmed. Most homes and their crops were outside of the city centers of religious ceremonies, San Lorenzo, La Venta, and El Manatí. The Olmec religion had several gods, which were animal-like and had supernatural powers. There was a dragon god, also called the Earth Monster. The Olmec dragon also looks a bit like a crocodile with flaming eyebrows. The Olmec dragon represented earth and agriculture. Since the main crop of the Olmec was maize, and very important to them, maize had its own god, which has the plants sprouting from its head. And chocolate? Wait, they had chocolate and it didn't have its own god? No, it didn't. There were two jaguar gods, one believed to be a rain spirit and the other a jaguar man. The jaguar man, sometimes called a were-jaguar, may have been a symbol of strength and victory in battle. The bird monster god represented the skies, sun, the rulers, and agriculture. It is depicted as a fierce bird, sometimes lizard-like. Its image is often seen in La Venta, including on an important altar. The fish monster god, or the shark monster, is believed to represent the underworld and looks like a frightening shark or fish with shark's teeth. The fish monster was drawn in stone carvings on pottery, but the most famous is on a large San Lorenzo monument. There isn't a lot known about the Olmecs because many of the artifacts and sites did not survive time. The writings found have been on stone and clay. However, they did have a mate paper made from bark that, like all paper, rots with time, moisture, and humidity. It is through their influence of other cultures in Mesoamerica that we are most often able to study them. Yes, we are getting to the Maya, almost there. Rubber balls have been found in the Olmec sites, suggesting that they played a game just called ball game, and even the giant stone heads appear to be wearing helmets that players wore in this game. While the rules of the game are unclear, ruins of a ball court have been found in Chichen Itza, a center of the Maya culture. This game was popular for thousands of years throughout the region. I know, soon. We're talking about the Maya soon, okay? The Olmec were skilled craftspeople, making clay pottery. Millions of pieces have been found in Olmec areas. Tools were made of stone, but these weren't just roughly shaped stones. They were finely and precisely crafted. Imported obsidian, which is a black and glass-like rock, was also used for tools and made sharp, hard, and detailed knives and tools. The jade masks and jewelry they carved were so well crafted they could be mistaken for items made with current technology. Items made by the Olmec have been found throughout Mesoamerica, and the stone that created the giant heads and obsidian were from outside their region. There is evidence that the Olmec built canals and moved items using pressurized water, and that they traded a great deal, influencing later civilizations with their writing, arts, and culture. Yes, including the Maya. Why the Olmecs disappeared around 400 BCE isn't certain. The rivers appear to have changed, either because of volcanoes in the area or a buildup of silt, which is a fine, light soil moved by water. The main sites emptied, and people brought their ideas and cultures all around Mesoamerica. Yes, okay, we are talking about the Maya now. We know much more about the Maya than the Olmec because the Maya civilization lasted longer. We also know a lot less than we could because when the Spanish arrived, they were in search of gold, which the Maya used to make some of its crafts. The Maya considered jade to be more valuable than gold and used cacao or cocoa beans as money. So many artifacts that could tell us more about the Maya were melted down to make gold coins, and many of their books were burned. The Maya civilization began in and around the Yucatan Peninsula around 2000 BCE in modern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Grand step pyramids and ball courts are still around today in many Maya cities. The Maya were great mathematicians and astronomers. Many of the pyramids they built to line up with movements of different planets or the sun and moon. Pyramids were first built around 100 BCE and could be up to almost 1,400 feet high, or over 140 meters. Some were monuments to gods, others were tombs for kings. City centers had palaces, temples, along with pyramids, and Maya cities were connected by roads they built. Maya cities even competed against each other in their ball game courts. Ball game was a very popular sport throughout Mesoamerica. Every Maya city had a ball game court built from stone. These giant courts had lots of flat space for play, hoops also made from stone, and seating for kings and the people. The rules varied and changed with time, and rubber balls found were different sizes. But carvings show people playing this game using their hips and torso to hit the ball into the hoop. These games could be played for fun, but sometimes had a religious meaning or were even used to resolve disputes between city-states. The Maya also created one of the earliest solar calendars that has 365 days in a year. It also has longer measurements of time. A Katun, which is almost 20 years, a Baktun, which is almost 395 years, and a Piktun that is 7,885 years. The most recent Piktun ended in 2012, which caused some people to wrongly believe, well, it's a long story. Maya cities had temples and palaces at their centers, and homes and crops surrounding them. The ancient Maya farmed foods such as tomato, chili peppers, cacao, avocado, guava, papaya, pineapple, pumpkin, sweet potato, and their most important crop was maize. All of those foods originally came from the Americas and influenced some of our favorite foods today. The Maya lived in city-states. Each state was independent and they were all united by a common culture. Each city-state was ruled by its king. The Maya believed that their king was divine, communicated with the gods, and was given the right to rule by those gods. The position of king was usually the oldest son of the last king, but there are also many cases of women rulers. Royalty wore large, elaborate headdresses and clothing with jewels and jade sewn to them. If someone broke a law, they went to trial, and the local leaders or even the king would serve as judge. At the trial, the judge would review evidence and listen to witnesses. If a person was found guilty, the punishment was carried out immediately. The Maya had strict laws and punishments. Crimes like murder, arson, and disrespect towards the gods were often punished by death. If it was an accident, there was a chance of not being killed. The Maya nobles were also subject to the law. If a noble was found guilty of a crime, they were often punished even more severely than a citizen. If the victim of a crime wanted to forgive the accused, then the punishment might be reduced. Punishment for crimes could be death, slavery, or paying a fine. A person's head could also be shaved for committing a crime, as this was considered a sign of shame. You'd probably be quite surprised by what the Maya considered beautiful. Their beauty gurus made very different videos. Beauty gurus only did live meetups back then. Most of us would be considered quite plain by Maya standards of beauty. They wanted long, sloping foreheads and big crooked noses. Some people even had clay prosthetic noses that they wore over their own noses. People pierced their ears and stretched the holes to put jade plugs into them, and even put jewels into their teeth. Tattoos were also used for beauty, and men were tattooed right after marriage ceremonies. Crossed eyes were also considered beautiful. babies would have their eyes trained to cross with a ball and string hanging between them. Some of the Maya ideas about what is beautiful may seem strange or funny to you, but ideas about beauty are cultural. They change with time and usually involve expressing wealth or status. What is beautiful is opinion, and there's even an entire branch of philosophy, aesthetics, that is still working on a definition of beauty that everyone can agree upon. Spoiler alert, there will never be universal agreement. Many Maya cities began to empty after 900 CE, and all but its strongest, largest cities remained. It's not entirely known why the Maya civilization declined. Weather may have been a cause, as rainfall is unpredictable where the Maya lived. While the Maya had built underground reservoirs to store water when the rains did not supply enough, Maya cities had tens of thousands of people, so a very long drought still would be a disaster. Wars between city-states is another possible cause, as they did happen at times. Even today, archaeologists are still looking for clues to get a more solid answer, but some of the clues have been lost forever to history and fire. The Olmec civilization developed sophisticated technology, art, and culture independent of other civilizations. The Maya were also influenced by the Olmec and built great pyramids, palaces, and infrastructure like roads and reservoirs. All of Mesoamerica was captivated by ball game, and its games were even used to keep peace among city-states. Many of the foods we have around the world now are from Mesoamerica. You may even eat some of these foods today, if you're lucky. Bye for now. Thanks for joining us.